Hi, I'm Clark Quinn of Quinnovation, and I want to talk to you today about activity-based learning. And this is a model I think is important to understand because I think I'm going to argue that it's the way we should be learning and need to be learning for the needs we're going to be facing. So right now, the way we define curriculum tends to be as content. And the problem with this is it makes it easy to believe that a content presentation and a knowledge test leads to learning. And there's a problem with that because it just doesn't. It doesn't lead to, you may learn facts, but you won't necessarily be able to apply them when needed. And so I really wanted to find a way to think about this in a different way that made it hard to think about content presentation and information dump as a solution for learning. So I decided what really a curriculum could and should be is a series of activities. This comes from my work in games and making learning engaging. But if you think about it, what we want people are doing things, applying that knowledge. What's core is the practice, where people are using the knowledge to solve problems like the problems they're going to face in the real world. And this can be a variety of different things. It can be individual activities, it can be group activities, and the activities can feed into one another and back out from one another so they can nest in a sense. But at core, the curriculum is a series of activities, and the final activity, if you can do that, that demonstrates your ability to do this. Now, this will drive you to content, and in fact, it makes it more meaningful because once you're engaged in the activity, you're faced with a challenge. Now that content makes sense. When you dump it ahead of time, beforehand, it's not going to stick. People don't have any context for it. They don't know why it's important. But now we can drive them to resources that will help them succeed in the activity. And as outputs of the activity, we'd like them to be generating products like the type they'd have to generate, whether it's an RFP or a document or a product or whatever. It's some work product. Could be a spreadsheet, could be a write-up, could be a diagram, could be a presentation, something tangible. And then we also want them to annotate it with reflections. They're thinking about how they designed it. And these are really important because that gives us basis for evaluation. We look at the product and we look at the reflections on how the product was done. And now we have an understanding of the thinking they associated with it, and we have a basis for mentoring. What content, did they look at the right content? What did they do in the activity? What product did they produce in their thinking? And overall, these product and reflections create a portfolio for them of their work that we know is an important tool to carry forward to document it. And it naturally invokes 21st century skills in using tools to do things, to create products instead of the tools for themselves, and using skills to manage, particularly in group activities, to work together, but also the types of things they should be producing as part of the activity should be the types of things they're going to need in the real world, and it's going to require them able to communicate and to collaborate and to manage their time and project manage and accessing content. Now I want to take this a step back, and I want to think about this in a broader context. I'm going to make a particular point from this. If you look at this version, we start having them decide. The learner starts choosing what product and what content they're going to access and what reflection they want to format they want to use. Do they want to create a video? Do they want to create a document that explains their thinking? Not only are they creating a product that could be in any form of media or tangible output, but the reflections can start being in different ways that they annotate this. And this is beginning to develop their working out loud practices and habits. So again, we're back to the 21st century skills, and we continue gradually handing off responsibility to them for choosing their overall learning experience. And in this way, we're not only developing their ability in the domain, but we're developing their ability to be learners in this domain and to become self-improving learners in this domain so that they are, at the end of the day, taking ownership. Because after our learning experience, they're going to be the ones responsible for continuing to update this information. The only way they can do it is if we do this annotation. And we have to show our own thinking about the design of the course as we get there. So there's an extra level of us being clear about why we're doing this way so they can start internalizing not only the content but the process of learning, the process of instructional design, so they can take responsibility for developing their learning. And I want to suggest this is the learning for the future, that we need to be developing people for the futures they're increasingly going to be facing. I'm Clark Quinn of Quinnovation, and I hope you found this valuable, and I welcome you contacting me, quinnovation.com. Thanks.